What's good, everyone? How are you doing? This is RedVsRed, and I am TheSaffronMan. We've got the latest news from Manchester United coming up. We're going to be talking about the outgoings of Hannibal, maybe Jadon Sancho. We've got a few incomings to be talking about as well, including Obi Martin, still unconfirmed, and Ugarte has a medical being confirmed as well. So we're going to get into all of that. Make sure you hit a follow if you're on YouTube, if you're on Rumble. Make sure you hit the subscribe as well. Show that support, and let's get right on into it, shall we? So we have 3 days left of the transfer market. It's not long at all. And we might have a video with sporadically on Friday, either just as the transfer market ends or maybe just with a few hours to go. We'll see, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, there's still some madness to go. We've still got some movements to be confirmed, and we still got some outgoings to be confirmed as well. And we might even have a late blossom for another 1 or 2, because we still have some positions being made, that we got an issue trying to solve with Luke Shaw being at left back. Do we have everyone in the attacking sense that we're wanting? So we'll see, but let's start with one of the outgoings first, and that is Hannibal Mejri. Now, I was looking for a couple of images of Hannibal and for today's episode, and he's been with us for such a long time. He's since the age of 12 or something. He's just been with us for ages, and it's sad to kind of see him go. Now, we've heard Rio Ferdinand this week talk about we needing a John O'Shea or a Paul Scholes type, and he's sad that McTominay's left. I'm more sad that Hannibal's left. I think Hannibal has got a higher ceiling than what Scott McTominay's got. I think Scott's probably playing quite close to his potential. I wish Scott McTominay all the best going to Napoli. I think he's done well for us, but I don't think his ceiling is quite as high as others around him. So I think 30 mil to Napoli is a good buy. I'm not so happy with £8 million for Hannibal. Yes, there's a sell-on clause, so if Burnley happen to sell him in the next 2-3 years or something, we would get a cut of that price. We might even double. Could you imagine? We might even double our money by Burnley reselling him on. That's food for thought. I think Hannibal's ceiling is way higher than Scott McTominay's, and I think Burnley's a good club. You give him a full season in the Championship, I think not only can he get you promoted, in full swing with another 1-2 years development on Hannibal Mejri, he could be a world beater, and he might go to a massive club in 3-4 years. We'll see, but I highly rate Hannibal, but I think it's good business for now if he's not going to get the game time. I understand that. We've got lots of midfielders, and we're trying to move on a few that aren't getting all the minutes. So if it makes sense for Manchester United as a club, it makes sense for me. I just think 8 mils are pretty cheap. That sell-on clause could only probably double it. I think he'll make good for Burnley in the long run. So good luck to him. All the best. Next one I wanted to talk about was obviously Obi Martin. Now this has been going on in the pipeline for the last few weeks, but it's still unconfirmed, right? And because there's lots of other stuff going on at the moment, I just feel like Obi Martin's kind of been verbally agreed, but they're waiting for other things. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know why they've kind of paused this deal. I don't know if the rules are, if you're a youngster, that it doesn't really count within the transfer window limit. So maybe we've got an extra couple of weeks after to sort that out. Maybe we're going to sort that out then. But there was a lot of news that he decided to come to United and choose the project at Manchester United because he's got a pathway into the first team. But then it's kind of gone quiet and it's still unconfirmed. So we don't really know what the plan is with that. I very highly rate this guy. This guy scored 10 goals against Liverpool for the under-18s. 10! Not just like in a season, in one match against Liverpool. So he comes very highly rated, and since there is an option to the pathway, I think we're going to see some minutes from Obi Martin this year, whether it be in the Carabao Cup or the final 10 minutes to save someone. I think he's going to get an introduction to our club on the pitch this season, and I'm excited for that because I think he could do what Rashford kind of did, and just start amazingly well, and he'll just kind of stay in as a squad player there. Now, people say, Saf, he's just 16. But yet, you've got to look at the world market at the moment. So many youngsters are getting a chance at the age of 16, and they're benefiting from it. It's just a rare thing that happens at an elite level, like the Premier League or the Spanish League, right? But Barcelona are kind of famous for that. I mean, Lamine Yamal is going nuts. And everyone saw Lamine Yamal during the Euros, including players like Obi Martin, and like they want their opportunities now. If they're good enough, they're old enough, right? So yeah, I think he wants minutes. I'm just afraid that we haven't heard anything, in a couple of weeks. But hey, maybe I'm wrong on that. Let's jump on to the next one, which is a similar situation, if we're honest. Is Sakou Kone. Now, this is a little bit more recent, but again, it's the same kind of deal as Obi Martin. He's around the 16. Let me just double check that. I want to make sure I've got that right. Okay, I'm pretty sure he's the same age. Pretty sure he's the same age. Oh, he's 18 years old. Okay, so I'm glad I've checked. So he is 18 years old. So he's probably going to want a few more minutes at that time. If not this year, like towards the end of the season, he's probably going to be wanting some minutes, right? So this is probably less of a future signing to not just right now signing, but definitely in the next 6 to 12 months, we'd be expecting to see Sakou Kone in our team. Now, Sakou Kone, it instantly reminds me of Yaya Toure. He's, again, only 18 years old, but he is tall. He has a frame on him, and he takes strides on the pitch where, someone like Amad Diallo who glides across the pitch, right? His knees barely go over his waist because he's just literally stepping so quickly on the pitch. Someone like Sakou Kone, he'll take one stride to like Garnacho's 6. So he can really gallop across the pitch and put a tackle in, and yeah, it should be really exciting. And it's again, we all ask for a change, we all ask for a revolution for Manchester United. Well, this is what it's looking like. Like, this is what it does look like. You go back to 10 months or so, we were all like, what is happening with our club? Who's buying it? Everything's in tatters. No one's happy. It was absolutely as a disaster. But now we come to now, we are seeing all of those changes in the club, outside the club, on the pitch, off the pitch, players being sold, players being brought in, youth academy prospects, world potential starlets are coming into our squad, and our conveyor belt is just chugging along nicely. And for the next 5 to 6 years, we have some amazing prospects coming through, and Sakou Kone is literally going to be one of those players, hopefully in the next 6 to 10 months. Again, if we don't see him this season, we should definitely be prepping him for next season, being 19 years old. Again, Lamine Yamal has set the standard. He set the bar. Everyone who's got ability at a young age wants time on that pitch. And so that's what we're seeing with these contracts here. And it's great to see. It's exciting to see. So, fair play. Let me know what you guys think down below, and we'll keep on going, right? So, another of the exits now, Jadon Sancho. Now, I can't wait for him to run out the door fast enough, quite frankly. We pursued him for 2 years. We gave him the best contract he's ever going to have in his life, and he just, hasn't turned up. He showed a poor attitude, and now he's being a negative influx on everyone else in the club. So, and around the club, he's just created a disparity between the fans, and it just needs to stop. It needs to go. look, there's been talk about loan moves again. Juventus are involved as well, but then but we can't afford the wages. Yeah, neither can we, fam. So you take him, or you pay up. You want him, just pay the money. That it is what it is. If you can't afford the money now, but you can only afford to pay the wages, then it needs to be a loan to an obligation, like 100% no getting out of contract to buy for next season. Now we're asking for £50 million. I think that's fair in this market, especially with what he's done. I don't know the answer to his wages. Now, if they're going to want a contribution, if the buying club wants a contribution to the wages, Manchester United should offer no more than 50,000, right? No more than 50,000. It needs to be financially beneficial for us to sell the player, right? And then they still need to pay that back probably the next year if it's on loan. So instead of 50, make it 50.15 or whatever it is. So yeah, they need to be smart here. But that's the one thing about Manchester United. When's the last time that we sold a player with a sell-on clause? I'll wait. Before this season. So I don't think it's ever happened. And now every player we are selling with a sell-on clause. So that's money coming back in at some point in the next 2-3 years. Not just from one source, but from every source that we're outselling players to. We're like, yeah, alright, okay, you don't have the money, but yeah, you give us an upfront. Let's be fair, let's say 8 million for Hannibal, but we want a 45% sell-on clause fee. It works for you now, it works for us then, it's a win-win. And we've just adapted that to every outgoing this season. And yeah, really good to see that we're being smart in the transfer market. And there's one more that I would like to talk about before we move on for today, and that is Manuel Ugarte. So we saw Mr. Wilcox travelling to Spain yesterday. There was a few pictures from just a fan who happened to recognise Jason Wilcox, took an image, put it on Twitter, and the rest is history. We knew he went to Paris. And we've had a here we go from Fabrizio Romano today. So I'm really ecstatic that this is finally coming to a close, but calm down. We've got the medical to go, okay? Now, usually, medicals go down fine, but we know through history that things can happen in medicals. Even in recent history, Chelsea had a couple of deals go down from a medical, so they collapsed. There are strange things that can happen in medicals. We all remember Ruud van Nistelrooy. He had a medical. We still kind of signed him after everything, and that's great. But look, until the medical is done, that is the final hurdle, right? So yes, we've got here we go. The player and Manchester United have come to an agreement. Manchester United and Paris Saint-Germain have come to an agreement, which is awesome, but it can all come to a stop, and it would be sod's law that Manchester United have put in all this effort and that something could happen with the medical. Obviously, I want Manuel Ugarte to come through a clean bill of health. He hasn't played for Paris Saint-Germain yet this season, which is awesome. But yeah, this could be something nuts. I want everything to go smoothly, but it's not done yet. He's not our player yet. When the medical is done and the transfer window is closed, then we will find out if we get Manuel Ugarte. So yeah, I think that's going to be really interesting. I want to celebrate, but I've seen stuff like this before. Let's just hold our horses until we know, all the medical is done, right? And yeah, that's kind of about it, really. That's kind of covered everything we want to do. Remember, we got Liverpool on Sunday. Our podcast, if you haven't watched it, is literally exclusive on Rumble, and we'll be going live directly after the match, so we get an instant reaction. So it should be good. But yeah, I hope you've all enjoyed it. Again, let me know all your thoughts down below. If you see us on Twitter, make sure you hit a follow. Same thing for YouTube and Rumble. Hit subscribe. Honestly, we're up to number 6 now. We're at 6. There we go. So hopefully we're trying to get to 100, and then we start a Discord community of everyone, and we're just going to build from there. We've got lots of plans for for this season, let alone the rest of the future. So yeah, make sure you jump on in and come and say, hey, I've been the TheSaffronMan. You're going to see sporadically on Friday, and you'll see both of us on Sunday. And so I'll catch you on the next one. Till then, peace.